So, something pretty wild happened back in early February of 2026. The entire global tech market got hit by this massive shockwave. But it wasn't a recession, it wasn't a trade war. Nope, it was a software update. Just one AI tool that, in a single day, set off a financial earthquake.
$285 billion. Seriously, just let that number sink in for a second. That is the amount of value that just poof, vanished from the stock market.
And here's the crazy part. This wasn't some widespread thing hitting everyone. This was a laser-focused strike right at the heart of the tech industry. We're talking software as a service companies, big IT firms, the very businesses that have been powering our world for decades. And the speed of it all? Absolutely breathtaking. As you can imagine, everyone was left scrambling, asking the exact same question. How on earth did one single AI release cause a market meltdown so bad it got its own nickname, the SaaSpocalypse? Well, let's get into it.
Okay, so let's dive into the chaos, and I mean chaos. This wasn't just a little dip in the market, this was a full-on, no-holds-barred panic. The selling was fast, it was brutal, and it shot from Wall Street all the way to the tech hubs of Bangalore, India.
And the name itself, SaaSpocalypse, it tells you everything you need to know. It perfectly captures this huge psychological shift that happened literally overnight. For years, the story was always that AI would help software companies, make them better. But suddenly, the market woke up to this terrifying new idea. What if AI isn't the helper? What if AI is the competition? And look, this wasn't just some abstract fear. The damage was real. We're seeing companies in legal tech drop by 20%. IT consulting giants like Accenture took a massive hit. Even the bedrock software companies like Adobe and Salesforce got pummeled. And in India, the Nifty IT index had its worst day in years. This was a systemic shock, plain and simple. So what was the actual catalyst for this financial earthquake? You might think it was one of the usual suspects, right? A Google, a Microsoft? Nope. The trigger was an update from an AI company that's been making a lot of noise lately. Anthropic. Anthropic, which was started by a bunch of ex-OpenAI researchers, pushed out this major update for their business tool, Claude Cowork. And the update included 11 new plugins specifically designed to automate professional jobs. We're talking finance, marketing, sales, and the big one, legal work. This wasn't just about making a chatbot a little smarter, this was a fundamental leap in what it could do. So the crucial piece of the puzzle here is the technology behind it all. Agentic AI. This is the leap that absolutely spooked everyone. We're going from AI as this sort of passive assistant that you have to constantly guide to an autonomous agent, basically a digital worker.
And this right here shows you why it's so disruptive. An agentic AI can be given a complex goal and it will create its own plan, use the software it needs to get the job done, and, this is the real kicker, it can find and fix its own mistakes along the way. It's an entire workflow in a box.
And this is where the pure, unadulterated panic set in for investors. See, this wasn't just a cool new feature. This was an existential threat to business models that had been making money hand over fist for 30 years. The entire economic foundation of software and services was suddenly shaking. This slide just lays it out so clearly, the old world versus the new. Before, AI was a tool to make a human worker better, which helped justify paying for expensive software licenses. But with agentic AI, the whole model flips on its head. Why pay for 10 software seats for 10 people when one AI agent can do all of their work by automating the entire process? The AI isn't helping you use the software anymore. In a lot of cases, it's straight up replacing the need for it. This is especially devastating for the IT services industry. I mean, their entire business model is built on billing clients for two things: the number of people working and the number of hours they put in. But what happens when an AI can do what used to be 10,000 billable hours of coding and testing in just a tiny fraction of the time? Well, that revenue model basically evaporates. And you can see right here why those Indian IT firms got hit so hard. A huge slice of their revenue, we're talking 40 to 70%, comes from exactly these kinds of application services. All that routine coding, maintenance, and testing, it's a prime target for agentic AI to automate. Their biggest source of profit just became their biggest vulnerability. Of course, not everybody thinks the sky is falling. The SaaSpocalypse immediately kicked off this huge debate across the entire tech world. Was this just a moment of temporary panic, or was it the first real sign of a massive, permanent change? So on one side, you have market analysts like Jeffrey Favuzza, who basically saw pure panic. When he says get me out style selling, he means investors were just hitting the sell button first and asking questions later. They were convinced that the core value of these companies had been damaged forever. But then you've got tech legends like NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang pushing back, and pushing back hard. He called the whole sell-off illogical. His point was that these AI agents will still need to use the software tools we already have to be effective. His analogy was great. Would you use a screwdriver or invent a new screwdriver? He thinks AI will be a user of tools, not a replacement for them. And Jensen wasn't alone. Other heavyweights like Google's Sundar Pichai and Tech Mahindra's Mohit Joshi were also telling everyone to take a deep breath. Their argument is that every major tech shift in history, from the internet to the cloud, has always ended up creating more work and opportunity for the tech industry, not less. So, with your core business model under fire and the market freaking out, what do you actually do? You can't just stick your head in the sand. You have to evolve, and you have to do it yesterday. And the playbook for how to survive is already coming together. First up, massive reskilling. Companies like TCS are scrambling to train their employees not just to write code, but to become AI architects who can manage these powerful new agents. Second, they're building their own specialized AI platforms on top of models like Claude's, adding deep industry knowledge that a general AI just doesn't have. And third, they're ditching the old billable hour. Now it's all about outcome-based pricing. It's not about how long you worked, it's about the results you delivered. Ultimately, this whole saga has forced a really profound question on the entire tech industry, and honestly, on all of us who use its tools. It's not enough to ask if your software is useful anymore. Now you have to ask, is it just a tool, or is its entire job about to be automated by an AI agent? The answer to that question could very well decide who the next big winners and losers in technology are going to be.